Okay. Hey, Paddy, how's it? Can you hear me now?
How's it going?
How's it?
Good.
Good. I see
Thanks.
a few guys are. Hey, Sean, what's up? Okay, I see a
Lekker,
few
man.
guys. I see a few guys' screens are off. We obviously are recording this, so we'll post this to the various pages and YouTube and all of that. But yeah, thanks very much to Chanel for just taking the time and chatting to us. I think it's going to be quite valuable. What we thought would be the best option to do is while Chanel is talking, we'll just mute our mics, we'll mute our microphones, and then if you have any questions, you can just use the chat function. So basically, if you kind of have a question, you don't have to save it right till the end. You can just quickly type it in the chat function, and then it'll come up so that Chanel can then answer it. And then obviously we'll have a Q&A right at the end as well. But obviously the chat function is there for just in case you forget any of your questions. Okay, cool. So I am going to hand it over to Chanel. And mute my microphone. Thanks very much.
Cool. Thanks, Matt. I'm very excited to be chatting to everyone today. And even yesterday when I was doing the PowerPoint, it was quite nice to think back of like the previous few days that we went through. Like initially we thought it's going to be 21 days and then it was 35, and now who knows how long we're going to still be in this situation. So I think it's nice to look back to stuff that worked and maybe stuff that we thought might work and it's not working. So we're going to just chat about that a little bit. So initially when I made this PowerPoint, I thought to myself that it really feels like we are all part of a like Survivor South African edition. And then I was thinking, like, are we eating like the contestants of Survivor, or are we eating like the cameramen behind the scenes? So they are obviously eating all their McDonald's and their sweets and their chips and stuff that we can't see. So then I looked on Google for a picture of the survivors, and I thought that's such a good picture because if you look at them, none of them are overweight, which is great. And then also, like, if you look on the food that it's on that table, it looks like the rainbow. And I mean, any dietitian would always tell you that you have to eat like a rainbow. And I made this joke with my mom in last week because she told me that my dad went out and he got Skittles to eat. So I said, well, that still looks like the rainbow. So at least she's following something that I'm saying, even though it's not fruits and vegetables. So I think it's important to keep that in mind. So to try and eat, and we have the time now, so to eat wholesome food and not stuff that looks like food. That is a big problem that I always have with other types of diets. If you look at like the banting and the keto and those things, if you just look at the actual food that's in there, it's healthy. But then we go and we find a banting muffin mix, and I mean, we don't know what's in there. So I think it's important to try and eat as healthy, wholesome, natural food like it is in nature, like that picture. So that's just something I quickly wanted to share with you. Then I thought to myself, like, we are all in this new sort of routine and this new normal. We are all like reading on Facebook, everyone's saying that normal will never be normal again. We're gonna like never have a normal again. So what is really different? What to us being able to go to work and training and whatever, what is the difference? So firstly, I thought we are all sitting a lot more. And I mean, myself and Matt and Sean did discuss this previously. We are sitting, even we are training, but we are sitting more because a lot of us are working from home. A lot of us can't work at all. And we are confined in our small house. So that is obviously something that's different in our day-to-day lives at the moment. Then also this picture I love because it looks like fun to train with him. But I think also we are all now trying to train from home. And in the beginning, like I speak for myself, I really thought it's amazing. I loved it. I enjoyed every moment of it. I made videos. I posted on Facebook, posted on my Nutrifundi Facebook. I thought it was very cool. But then 2 weeks later, I started seeing that, now I can't train anymore because I'm damaging my floor. And I messaged John. I see John is on the chat as well. And I told him, like, we have a problem. I can't train here anymore. Now I have to train outside where it's cold now. I mean, we all saw the weather today. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm actually a runner. Now I have to think of stuff that I can do outside in my parking spot. So that is all different weird things. And I mean, we are, all of us are trying to combat that. Matt and Sean, everyone's doing the online classes, but the fact of the matter is it's not the same. So that is something that's different at the moment. Then going out shopping. Obviously, a lot of us, I mean, myself, I normally would go after work, get stuff that I need to buy to make dinner that night. So I'm not used to buying stuff for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however many weeks. So our shopping is different. The stuff that we can find in the shops are different. So all of that is different in the moment or in the current normal. So we have to think about that. Then, like we said, we are working from home. A lot of us, like I said to someone this morning, I actually missed it completely that we just had a weekend, because it just feels like another day, another day, another day. So our routine is completely out of normal. We might now still be working on emails at 8 o'clock at night, but we are still sleeping until 9 the next morning. So everything is a little bit democor. Then our sleeping patterns. I read a very interesting article saying that all of us are struggling to sleep. We are having all these weird dreams, all of those things because we are stressed. And stressed, not sleeping, is just a disaster when we are looking at trying to eat healthy and be healthy. So we are working on our laptops in the bed. We are on the phone constantly. We are watching TV more. So all of that is definitely playing a role. So there's all the different pictures. And then I thought of one thing that is sort of the same for all of them. And that is how we can combat that. And I feel that is really by planning. So the first one, if you think of sitting on the bed and the couch and the whatever the whole time, is plan. Get an app, put a reminder on your phone every 2 hours to get up. Plan something for you to do tomorrow in that time where you would normally sit. So maybe you can go for a walk outside in your garden. Maybe you can do some gardening. Maybe you can clean the house. I mean, I did that one day and it was really actually quite a workout. So plan for that so that you can move around a bit more. Then the shopping. I think this is really where the planning really plays a role, is make a list. And I mean, we discussed this in the first webinar thingy I had with Matt and Sean, is check what you have in your house. Check the expiry dates in your house. A lot of times we think, oh, I still have a lot of brown rice. But then when you actually open up the packet, there's like not enough left. So check everything, check the expiry dates, make sure that you buy stuff that you need. And also don't only buy fresh stuff. Obviously, like I said in the beginning, we want to eat like the rainbow. We want to eat all healthy, wholesome food. But all of that is going to go off at once. Okay. And we obviously don't want to go out too often and too much during this time. So I think really make a list of foods that you want to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner for the next 3, 4, 5 days. Check what you don't have in your house and you use that as a shopping list when you go out. Then the training, like I said, plan, put it on your schedule, in your diary, on your phone, that you're going to do a Zoom class with Matt or Sean or any of those. Plan it, make it part of your day-to-day plan so that you don't forget about it. Okay. Then the sleeping, try and not be on your phone or your laptop or whatever an hour and a half before going to bed, especially if you know you are struggling to sleep. A lot of us are fine with screen time, a lot of us not. So make sure you do that and still try and sleep 6 to 8 hours. A lot of times in this time, we now think that we're actually sleeping more because it feels like that, but we're not. So count your hours, make sure that you're getting quality sleep and not just nap on the couch and then you can't fall asleep at 2 o'clock in the morning and everything is democor. Get quality sleep. And then work from home, try and still have your lunch break. So like I said in the beginning, well, in another webinar, pack your lunchbox, take it with you to your office, even if it's just in the other room. And then you know you're only allowed to eat that's in that bag for that day. So that's the planning that you can do for that. Okay. Then I have a few things that I thought of during this time. So first we said, like I said now, failing to plan equals planning to fail. So have a set plan. And yes, I do mean a meal plan. And like I said there, we can help you with it. I can do a meal plan for you. I see some of my patients on the chat list. It doesn't have to be something that formal. It can just be a plan that you make yourself, that you try and stick to, or you can contact me and I can help you with that. Then something I see a lot on my Facebook is people try and be like this A+ student with their diet in lockdown. So they are thinking if they're eating a block of chocolate, there is going to be thunder and lightning and it's going to hit them on the head and they're going to die. It's not like that. You were probably eating chocolate before the lockdown as well. So don't be too hard on yourself. included, but like I said, in small quantities as part of a plan. So if you, let's say you make a rule for yourself, you can only eat 2 blocks of chocolate after your dinner if you followed the plan for the day or something like that. So make a small rule for yourself and don't be too hard on yourself. Then I said to a patient this morning as well, each meal is an opportunity. So don't feel like, oh, yet this morning I had chocolate for breakfast, so I might as well have 2-minute noodles and pizza for lunch. Every meal is an opportunity. Yes, we are going to fail. Yes, we are going to eat bad stuff. This is a very emotional time, but forget about it. You do it, you enjoy it, enjoy your Coke and your chocolate, and we're done. Next meal, we are back on it. We're back on our plan, and don't beat yourself up too much about this. Know your weakness. So I know a lot of people, and this actually goes with the next one, know your triggers. A lot of people, we discussed this previously, is if we are bored, then we eat. Or if you are emotional, then we eat. Or our favorite food is chocolate, or my favorite food is chips, or whatever. That is the stuff that you need to know about yourself. We can't help ourselves if we don't know what our problems are. So if you know your weakness is chocolate, then maybe try and not buy 5 slabs every time you go out. Don't put it on the list, because if it's not there, you won't eat it. So buy a chocolate, buy a dark chocolate, you know, that's a better option, but then you know that that's for the next week or 2 weeks. So know your weaknesses, and then your triggers. Like I think Sean said the other day, he's very good with eating throughout the day, very healthy, but then come Netflix, and then he wants to eat chips and all the bad stuff. So I think know that as well, and know your triggers. Like Netflix equals chips, so make a plan. So you have to either have something more healthy. We discussed popcorn that day, so maybe you can have popcorn as an alternative. Have something to keep your hands busy, like I said that day as well. Like few months ago, I taught myself how to knit, because I know I eat when I'm bored or when my hands aren't busy. So you have to account for that. Then the next one is account for the changes. So if you know that you can't train as hard as you like, or like you used to, like let's say you are doing the Zoom classes, but you know the calories on your watch, it's not the same as normal classes or whatever, you have to eat less. So you have to think of before lockdown, and then maybe instead of having 2 slices of bread with your sandwich for lunch, make it 1. Or instead of having 3 or 4 of those small potatoes for dinner, make it 2. So you have to account for those changes. Then forget about the scale, but not about you. So I actually haven't measured or weighed myself at all this whole lockdown, only once last week. But I added that last part that says don't forget about you. So feel how you're feeling in your clothes. And obviously I think a lot of people can relate. We are not wearing our normal clothes. We are not wearing our jeans and our uniforms and our tight fitting clothes. We are all wearing our sweatpants and our pajamas. And so maybe you're not feeling it. So maybe it sounds weird, but maybe now and again, put something on that you know fits you, and how is that feeling. So don't weigh. I don't want you to get like a number and put that to yourself, but maybe check where you are at with your whole body. Then get an accountability partner. So get someone that you ask to message or phone you once a day or once a week and ask, did you train? Like in the beginning of this talk, I asked Matt, did you train today? So it's a good thing to ask people, because hopefully Matt would go, oh yeah, the Chanel asked me, so I said no, so I think I should go and train. So that's it's a good idea for you and for the other person. So that could help. Then, like I said earlier, this time is a challenge in itself. So I want you guys to eat healthy and do healthy stuff, but don't go and do like a 21-day no sugar challenge now as part of this lockdown. It's very good to have broad, healthy food vibes, but don't go like to like a huge thing, and now I'm going to cut out this and cut out that, and I'm going to do this challenge and I'm going to post it on Facebook, because you're just putting unnecessary stress on yourself. Okay, then we have a lot of apps that we can use, like MyFitnessPal we can use, a lot of people that works for, so you can log everything that you eat, because a lot of times we forget what we are eating because we're not in our normal routine. And then also you can check your macros and see where you are, just to sort of keep check on yourself. Know your goal, know your plan. So a lot of us are not going to be, myself, I'm not going to stand on a stage being part of a fitness model competition or whatever. So I don't have to eat like those people. yes, they can't have chocolate every day because now it's a stressful time or whatever, because they have a goal. So make sure you know what your goal is. I would say a good goal for this time is to just get out of lockdown in the same situation, fitness, eating, health wise, as what we started off by. So try and don't beat yourself up and try and be too hard on yourself. But also, if you do have a specific goal, if you do have a big competition that might still happen end of the year, or if you have a big race, or you have something that you have to do, then yes, you have to be strict on yourself. But remember, that is specific to your goal. So make it specific to you and not to the fitness models on Instagram and Facebook. It's not the same. Then, sorry, that should be bad versus good versus sometimes. So dietitians don't like to say food should be bad or it's good, and I'm not allowed to eat it and I can eat that. So don't categorize food like that. We rather look at the sometimes. So like on that picture that I put on the PowerPoint, you'll see that I show no chocolates and Coke and those things. So obviously we don't want to eat that every day and in big amounts, but we can sometimes include it. So move away, use this time now to sort of get a healthy relationship with food and to learn that we can have all food, but some foods we should maybe not have every day and just sometimes, maybe just once a week or once a month. So that is a healthy relationship with food. And then rethink your drink. We had this discussion with Sean the other day as well, especially in this winter. Everyone is, in this weather, everyone's having coffee and tea and all this stuff that's high in sugar, and then we add extra stuff to it. So then we add all this caramel stuff into our coffees to make it taste nice and extra sugar. That's unnecessary. So don't only think about your eating habits, but also drinking habits. And I know a lot of people really try to stock up on alcohol before lockdown, so I'm sure everything's sort of finished by now. But alcohol also obviously contains a lot of calories, so make sure you take that into account. Also, I have some patients asking me, can I have 4 whiskeys? So I'm like, yes, you can, but what are you going to eat with that whiskey? Because a lot of time after having 1 or 2 drinks, we don't worry about our diet anymore. So make sure you rethink that, should I really have this alcohol now? Do I really need it? Because there's calories in, like we said, fruit juice, it does contain calories. A half a cup of fruit juice is the same as 1 whole fruit. So maybe do not have fruit juice, but rather have whole foods. Cut it up in small pieces because it will make you eat longer. And then maybe not snack as much on the not so good foods. And then we said, do weird things because this is a weird time. So we mentioned this previously, make small stuff for yourself that you can do in this time. So for instance, we mentioned it last time, if you boil your kettle, you do sit-ups in that time. Or you set alarms on your phone that every time that it beeps after an hour, you have to drink a glass of water, or you have to get up and do star jumps, or every time you get an email, you have to do 10 squats or whatever. This is a weird time. No one is going to see you. So think of weird things that we can do for your health. Or like another thing is maybe take a photo of your food that you're going to eat for dinner and put it on your WhatsApp status so that the world can be your accountability partner. So think of things, and if you think of anything, send me a message. I would love to hear, and we can incorporate that into our new normal diet patterns. Then just something, and I have mentioned this now a few times, but really we have to look after ourselves. This is really emotional and scary time, and I think we all are seeing new things and learning new things from ourselves. So look after yourself as well. Try and still have a balanced life. Do stuff that you enjoy, do some work, do some self-improvement, do some cleaning, sort of have a balanced life, because we can't be healthy if our mental health isn't taken care of. Okay. And then, like I said, we can help. We are allowed to still see patients in this time. We aren't allowed to practice from the practice, but we can do virtual assessments. So I have 2 options during this time. I just have a cheaper option, which is option 1, which is a questionnaire-based semi-individualized meal plan. So it's like a link that I send to you if you would like me to calculate a meal plan for you. I'll give you some options that you can have for lunch and for dinner and all those things. And it is individualized according to the questions that you fill in. Then the other option is basically the same that I would do in the practice. It's a fully individualized meal plan. It's 2 Zoom sessions where it's just me and you. I do a whole list of questions with you. From there, I work out a meal plan. And from there, we book our second session where I then discuss the meal plan with you and go through it, make sure you're happy. And then you can start following this in the lockdown while we have a lot of time to cook and prepare foods. So yeah, that's my story.
Great. Thanks so much. Thanks, Chanel. Yeah, I quite liked especially what you said about, finding your triggers and finding sort of what triggers you. I find that's difficult for myself, knowing your weaknesses and that. So like kind of altering your environment to, if you know that you're going to go watch Netflix and you're going to eat a whole packet of chips while you're doing it, then find something else to keep you busy because you're not hungry, you're just bored. Yeah, that's very cool. Thank you so much. Guys, we can unmute and we can have a bit of an open discussion. There will be time for questions. See, Sean has
How's it, Chanel?
Hi, Sean. Nice to see you. How are you?
100%, yeah, good in yourself.
That's good. Hi, John.
How's it going?
Hey, what up?
So like, just with regards to, I liked what you said there. I don't think anyone's brought it to our attention. We touched on the coffee thing, but I like what you said there. I think it was not only taking into account what you're eating, but also drinking. On a scale of like 1 to 10 on how bad it is, we all know. We spoke about it before about knowing. We all kind of know what's not good and what's good to put in your body. It's just we try and convince ourselves now that it's fine, But I know for myself, and I'm going to throw Matt under the bus here as well, as I should do.
I threw you under the bus.
Yeah. So we drink quite a bit of like Coke Zeros and like a lot. Like I'll crank through a 2-liter like no one's business. Is it a false pretense to like how much calories is in that? Good calories, and then how much sugar? I know it says no sugar and stuff, and like what is it really that good for you, or are we bullshitting ourselves, to put it plainly?
Okay, so my husband Jock always says the same, like, how can this not have sugar in it? Then it's sweet. So I'm like, yes, but that's not how it works. So how sweetener works is like it's 400 to 600 times sweeter than normal sugar. So that means you have to have 400 to 600 times less of it to have the same taste or effect or whatever. So yes, if you multiplied whatever a little bit that's in there times 400, it will have the same amount of calories in sugar, but you would die because it will be very sweet. So that is how it works. So from a calorie point of view, definitely Coke Zero, Coke Light, it's definitely a better option. Obviously, I want you to have enough water. That's the best option. But they are sort of in between. Calorie-wise, they are the same as water, actually. To be honest, they have like 1 or 2 calories, so that's basically nothing. But obviously, there's other stuff in that's not so good. So some sodium or the sweetener, maybe there's some issues there. All sweeteners are currently still approved by the FDA. And the FDA is really difficult. So like they won't approve something if it's not safe. There is some research showing that maybe it can cause cancer or whatever. There's a lot of stuff. But also we have to look at the methodology of those research. So firstly, it was done not on humans, but like on a mouse or whatever.
Yes, yeah.
And then a lot of times it was given to them in huge amounts that us as humans would never actually be able to consume. And some of the research, it was actually given to the poor animal IV. I mean, you not take Coke IV. So I think that all that factors need to take need to be taken into consideration. So I would obviously not tell you guys, I don't know how much is a lot, but I won't say to have 2 liters of Coke Zero a day. But if you're having a glass with lunch and a glass with Coke, with dinner, that's okay. But then make sure that you still have your water and all the other stuff with it. Still better than having.
Just ruined my day.
Oh yeah, I thought you liked me. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, that's a good answer, because you always get caught marketing schemes and stuff on how they market it, and they say it's great, but it's good to know that it's not the worst thing in the world to be having, because like you said, it's a little bit tough to go and sit and just drink water all day every day. We're all going to drink stuff that we want to enjoy, and I've always wondered how good is that stuff actually for you, or are we getting bullshitting? So yeah, thanks. That was a good answer. Thanks.
And also, like I said to you the other day, it really depends on patient to patient. So it is toxins that we're putting in our body, but smoking and drinking alcohol and braaiing, all of that is also toxins. So yeah, I think it depends on your whole diet. So if you are doing all the other bad toxins, then maybe we should cut down on the Coke Zero as well. So it sort of fits in with your whole diet, and then how your body is with detoxing and how much you're training and those things.
Yeah.
John, wat lag jy?
Yeah. They drink Coke Zero, I drink Sprite Zero.
That's okay.
Also, like what you said about, like we obviously perceive whiskey and that to be as a healthier option. But like you said, the effect that alcohol has is obviously there's still calories in alcohol, but it's also, like what do we eat? Our inhibitions are lowered and we're like, okay, well, I'm a little bit tipsy now or whatever, so let me just eat. And that's the direction we tend to go. And obviously over and above that, I think we have discussed it in one of our podcasts or in one of our videos, but you're probably less likely to train or feel on top of things the next day, and that kind of makes planning fall down the drain a little bit as well. Anything you may have planned might take a back seat based on how you're feeling.
So dietitians normally would call it empty calories. So there's 2 things that give you empty calories. So that's basically you put calories into your body, but you're not getting anything good from it. Okay. So, and the 2 things are sugar and alcohol. And South Africans, we love to mix the 2. We do brandy and Coke. Nee? Okay. Yeah. And then with that, then we somewhere quickly stop at the McDonald's or wherever, because now I feel like eating whatever. So obviously now, luckily in lockdown, we can't get all those bad foods. But so I think it is important to make sure that even after lockdown, when you go to a braai or whatever, and you are going to drink something, that you are mindful of the stuff that you eat with it, and take a healthy snack with you. So if there's going to be chips on the table, you're going to eat it. If there's biltong on the table, it's maybe a better option. You're going to eat that. So make sure that whatever is there is that better.
So now we're in tough times now. Biltong's a big expense. Now. So
I know, but after lockdown, everyone's going to... Yeah, I know. After lockdown, everyone's going to just buy biltong because everyone's missing biltong a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I like to. Sorry, guys. I'm like taking up portion of time here.
I have lots of it at the moment.
I always seem to think that, like it's kind of basic, like you say, with regards to eating. We all kind of know what we should and shouldn't be eating, and I always take the approach of, and I'm not sitting here like a martyr and saying I've got the best diet in the world. I'll be the first one to say I like knickknacks and I like Coke Zero, and I do like to eat the nice things like we all do. But my approach is, and I don't know if you can elaborate or maybe give me other cues or give us other cues. I always look at something and I always look at it and say, like, what am I going to get out of this meal? So for instance, I always use I love ham and cheese roll. It's like my thing. I love a ham and cheese roll. But there's almost nothing in there for, like, nutrition wise. There is a bunch of stuff there, but in the greater scheme of things, like a piece of ham is how much protein? Basically
7
nothing.
grams.
Yeah, it's like processed meat and a slice of cheese, and then a whole bunch of refined carbohydrates. So I don't know if you could elaborate on something like that with regards to being mindful with regards to what we're eating, or
I think
something that you look at when you're eating any specific meal.
So yeah, Sean, I actually think that you should become a dietitian, because that whole thing that you spoke about now is called nutrient profiling. So that it's actually a term. So, and that's the same as let's say I give you 1,000 rand and I say, okay, you can do whatever. And you come back and you have bought maybe an online course and now you're doing that and you actually got something good out of it. Or maybe you went out and you gambled and you just wasted the whole 1,000 rand. So, and then you can't show anything for it. So that is exactly how it works with calories. So let's say I give you 2,000 calories a day, give or take. Okay. Then whatever you put in your body for that 2,000 calories is where it all comes into play. So we have to think of the macros, but also of the micros. So, and that is where the empty calories come in, when I was talking about the sugar and the alcohol.
Yes.
For those calories, you get nothing. Okay.
Yes,
So at least for your ham and cheese roll, if it's brown bread, we get a little bit of fiber and we get some carbs and maybe 14 grams of protein. For alcohol and sugar, we get nothing. So that's a good example. But then also if we add a lot of fat to stuff, then also content a lot. And some of the fats, yes, they are healthy for us. They're healthy for the heart, like the avos and those things. But also a lot of the fat isn't that healthy and isn't that great. And that is where we look at like the takeaways, for instance. So the calories are super high, but what are they actually giving us? They're just giving us the bad fats and the refined carbs. Okay. So a good idea, I would say, is to compare like apples with apples. So now obviously in lockdown, we don't have the time to just stand in the shop and read labels. But once we can do that again, it's a good idea to compare the stuff with each other. So I always say, if you take Provitas and you compare it with something like normal chocolate chip cookies or whatever, and you compare the two, they will probably be similar, like one Provita, one cookie, same amount of calories. But then if you look at the stuff below that, it's different. So the fiber is more in the Provitas, the fat is more in the chocolate chip cookies. So sort of compare, you can't go and compare chocolate chip cookies with Viennas because it's not the same thing. So compare apples with apples, but then also look at the micros. So check the vitamins, the minerals, all those stuff that we get in there, because those are the stuff that's keeping us healthy and keeping us from having cravings. Because a lot of times we are craving certain foods because we're actually deficient in the micros. So it's exactly what you are saying is spot on. We have to make sure that we are getting enough good stuff for the amount of calories. Otherwise, you're going to go over it because your body needs it.
Yes. Okay, thanks. That's quite helpful,
Awesome. Anyone else, Colt?
All good. Yeah.
Thanks so much,
Cool.
Ashton. I definitely enjoyed that. I learned a lot.
Yeah, that was boss.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Good stuff.
We obviously will post this on the various pages and links and all of that. So if you guys do have any questions, you can also comment on the page on either on, I think Chanel will put it on her page as well, Nutrifundi, CrossFit Kempton or CrossFit Durabo. And then, we'll pass the questions on and we'll get them answered. But thank you very much. Thanks, Chanel.
Thanks, Chanel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.